Well, England bowled out for 175, having been asked to bat first by New Zealand. It really was a poor display. A run of ball 34 from Harry Brook did nothing more than take England to 105 for 6, at which point Jamie Overton attempted to launch something of a rescue effort with a top score of 42 from 28 balls. But really a selection of poor shots. Some good deliveries. Ben Duckett got a good one from Jacob Duffy, and Joe Root was perhaps unlucky to be caught down the leg side by Tickner, giving him his first of his 4 wickets, 4 for 34 on his return to the team after a traumatic 2 years out of the setup in which his wife was diagnosed with leukemia. And well, he never thought he would play another international game, but he did. Some poor shots, as I said, from England. Harry Brook cutting one to backward point. Jacob Bethel pulling a short ball straight to deep square leg. So New Zealand left with a target of just 176 for victory, romped to victory with 16.5 overs to spare. For the second time, led by Daryl Mitchell with an unbeaten 56. Mitch Santner, the New Zealand captain's in a bit of form with the bat as well. 34 not out from 17 balls. Jofra Archer was outstanding. That's the good news for England. 10 overs, 4 maidens, 3 for 23. He looked quick, he looked sharp, incisive. But other than that, Darren Gough and Steve Harmison, this was a day to forget for England.
Oh, it's been a series to forget, hasn't it? The 50 over part. I think it just sums up where we're at. New Zealand are a very organised side. They know how to get the job done. They've got players in their side who we know can bat long, whether it be Latham, whether it be Mitchell, whether it be Williamson. And I think England have got a game plan. They're adamant they're going to stick to it no matter what. They're trying to play 50 over cricket, almost like they play T20 cricket. Cricket intelligence today tells you, but the ball's done a little bit with a new ball. It's only going to do more under the lights, which it did. England would have got a reasonable score around that 230, 240 mark. It would have put a lot of pressure on New Zealand, but we're still going for that magic 300 plus mark, sometimes 400. We're going to do it now and again and look the best team in the world, and we could beat any team in the world because we've got talented cricketers. But consistency tells you over many years of watching 50 over cricket, you have to be consistent in your performance. And we can't just go out there saying, I'll tell you what, we're just going to go out and hit it further than anybody else. We're going to hit more sixes and fours than anybody else. And then when we bowl, we're going to bowl them out. It's not as easy as that. If it were that easy, we'd have all been brilliant players, you know. So there's a bit of work to be done in the 50 overs. T20s, we are brilliant. We're fantastic. It's brilliant to watch. I love the brand. We've got the players to play that way for T20 cricket. We've got some organisation to do and some game plans to talk about and start having meetings about how we're going to play 50 over cricket. Because New Zealand, organised, passionate, brains. England, absolute all over the shop this series.
Darren's got a good point, hasn't he? If Usain Bolt was asked to run 400 metres, he wouldn't run it at the same speed that he runs 100.
No, he wouldn't, and then he might be on a similar track. But I think Gough he always makes the good the good points, and I mean the brains bit. That's the thing for me. It really is. I mean, it's all right having this game plan. You go out there, we hit more boundaries than the opposition. We want to entertain. We want to hit sixes and fours. We want to go harder. That's what we know what Harry's going to say. Harry's going to say we want to. We'll be back next week and we'll be going harder. You've got to have a surface to go harder on. You have to have the surface to go harder on. You can't win games of cricket by batting 35 overs. You can't. It's impossible. By batting 35 overs last week, over the weekend, 36 overs today, you can't win 50 over cricket matches by playing reckless shots in 36 overs. It just doesn't work, and it will never work. And it's not just in these two games. I think there's been a demise of England's 50 over cricket. I think they're struggling with the balance of the side. I think they're struggling with I came into this contest talking about the balance of the side and the bowlers. You can't blame the bowlers there. I mean, the bowlers have nearly pulled a rabbit out of the hat and given themselves a little bit of a game. 275, 280 on Saturday, on Sunday, England had a chance. Gough says 230, I would say probably 250, 260 in this game. England had a chance with the bowlers, that the way they executed their plans. But I look at that batting unit and go, Jamie Smith, one of the best players in the wicketkeeper batters in the country, yes. Ben Duckett, one of the best opening batters in world cricket at this moment in time, yes. Joe Root, one of the greatest players that's ever played the game. Jacob Bethel, an exciting, promising young player who's going to potentially bat number 3 in the Ashes. Harry Brook, England's, one of England's best players in both, red ball and white ball format, and Joss Butler, probably the best white ball player that we've ever had. So it's not as though we're throwing young kids in the deep end. It's not as though we're throwing young players or inexperienced players or players who we're not sure could be good enough. And 6 names I've just mentioned there are all top quality players. And in 2 games so far, they're the ones that let England down. They're the ones. The batters have let England down. The reason why they've batted 35 overs and 36 overs is because England have been in the game. In the last game, they were 10 for 4, 33 for 5, 56 for 6. In this game, 63 for 4, 81 for 5. You're not batting 50 overs. You don't bat 50 overs against any team. You're not winning, and you're not winning games, no matter where other teams are. What England are going to run the risk of, and this won't happen. But God forbid if they keep going the way they're going, they run the risk of not qualifying. Imagine having to go to Zimbabwe June, July to qualify for an ICC tournament. Because that's where they're going.
It's the top 8 qualify automatically, but South Africa are guaranteed a place in the top 8, so they qualify. So England it's actually 9th place.
So England are 8th at the minute, though.
So it's top 9, but West Indies and Bangladesh, the only 2 teams below them. They need to sort it out. I mean, there will be plenty of people saying, well, we hear you guys in the commentary box, all you've been talking about for the last month or 2 is the Ashes. This is an hors d'oeuvre, this is a warm-up for the Ashes. So who could blame the England players for being distracted by the Ashes? But
we're not going to play like that. What we've just seen, if we go to the Ashes and play like that, we're going to lose 5-0. You can't go out and play like that on pitches that nibble around a bit. I think we both agree here, we've got good players. You can't argue with that 6 he's just talked about there. Fantastic players. But this all interview stuff and mentality about, we're just going to hit more 6s and 4s, it's not as easy as that. If it was that easy, we'd all be brilliant. Because you can't. Sometimes you have to assess the pitch, communicate with your team, have a meeting about it before, and what happens there's a bit of bounce, there's a bit of seam with the new ball, and it's, to be honest, New Zealand had the harder conditions. It seemed throughout when England bowled under the lights, Jofra Archer was unplayable with the new ball. But you can't go out there thinking you're going to score on that sort of pitch 380, 390. It ain't happening. It's happening once every 7-8 games, 9 games.
And you're giving yourself a chance. You look at the scorecard, and Kane Williamson got out, caught down leg side, 21 off 39. Rachin Ravindra, he had 54 off 58. For a large proportion of that innings, he was miles behind balls faced per run scored. But what they did was they give the rest of their batting unit a chance to score the runs.
They softened the Kookaburra balls.
They did.
As well.
They give the ball. They respected the bowler. They respected the ball. And yes, it's easy saying this when you're only chasing 175, 176, but they give themselves a half a chance by respecting the early part of the game. Not going out there and totally disrespecting the game by not understanding the surface you're playing, trying to play shots that you cannot play on these wickets, and not giving you your best chance to see the. I mean, what did we see? 2 overs of the ball change. Now is it 34? It's 34 overs now, isn't it? So in 2 games with the new rules where they're split, where you get a Kookaburra ball, 1 from each end, brand new, till the 34th, and then the captain gets to pick which one he wants to use, which is the softest, or which is the one that's gone out of colour. England have had 1 over with it on Sunday and 2 overs with it today. I mean, it's like we sound like a broken record, and we are sounding like a broken record. But at the end of the day, England are making the same mistakes they've made for quite a long time in 50 over cricket. And what happens? We'll have a captain and a coach come and we'll say, we've got to go harder.
Well, we'll hear hopefully from Harry Brook, and we'll hear whether he does repeat that. But now then, if this is a preparation for the Ashes, and it is, I think you would both have put very high on your priority list Jofra Archer and Mark Wood. Obviously, Wood's not in the squad, so we weren't going to see him. Archer didn't play in the first game, but let's just concentrate. Let's put aside all of the poor shot selection and the errors and the lack of application and the apparent inability or unwillingness to do the hard work that 50-over cricket requires. All of that is very disappointing. So just focus for a minute on Archer, because jeepers, if the first three, I mean, 10 overs, 4 maidens, 3 for 23, 3 edges for 4. And he could have had 3 for 12.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. I really did. I think that's great, encouraging signs for what's coming up in Australia. It really is. Another 10 overs under his belt here in New Zealand. 20 overs in the game against the Lions, and I think he'd be ready for that first Test match in Perth. I can see a day. I can see a storyline of Archer playing all 5 Test matches in Australia. I really can. I can see Jofra playing all 5 Test matches. He looks fit. He looks strong, and I can. Honestly, I can. You're saying no, but I can see.
Is that a dream or a nightmare?
No, I can see.
No way.
But I look at Ben Stokes, and Ben Stokes will pick the best team for what's coming next. And I look at Jofra Archer, and I see when he's not playing, the guy has a hump on. You can see he gets.
He'll play the first 2 and he won't play in Adelaide, and then he'll play the last 2. He could play 4.
I think he'll play all 5.
But
I really think he'll play all 5.
But what I have, look,
if he's fit, I think he plays all 5.
I've been impressed. Jofra Archer today was outstanding. He's come back after having a little bit of a break. He looks fit as anything. He's eaten well. He's trained well. He was smiling throughout the game. He bowled with pace. He made the ball move off the seam. He had a game plan. He came back for his second and third spells, and he was straight at him from the off. There was no looseness. And even Bryden Cass, not as good today, but in the first ODI, I thought he bowled well as well. I think he picked up 3 wickets, didn't he, in that first ODI?
His first spell today was good.
Yeah. So 2 in his first spell today. So the 2 quick bowlers who could play in that first test, I actually thought bowled really well in this series. So they're being good. So there's good signs. The next sign now is, after this series is finished, is watching Mark Wood bowl. We're all desperate to see him bowl, because he hasn't bowled now for nearly a year.
Okay, we'll come back to that question in just a moment. But for now, our colleague at Sport Nation, Daniel McCarty, had a chat to Rachin Ravindra after the game. Ravindra made 54 from 57 balls. Looked very good.
Yeah, I think it was a hell of a victory. I mean, we've been pretty decent at this format over a period of time, so it's nice to get the job done here again.
Important toss to win. I think they wanted to bowl as well, but how did you think it played? Did it move us around as much as you may have thought?
Yeah, I think it nipped around a bit. I think their bowlers certainly made use of conditions, and obviously our boys, the way they're bowling at the top of the innings is amazing. I think we know early season New Zealand that's going to nip around and have that little bit of extra bounce, but I think the wicket played quite nicely in the end, but certainly tested us at the top.
Great to see Blair to come back and get his chance and really seize it. It seemed like he was loving it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hell of a story, isn't it? I think the comeback stories are always amazing, and I think the way Tix came out and did his work, I mean, we know what he's about. He's obviously been in the group before, but to come away after a few years and showcase his skills out there on from a tough end into the wind was brilliant to see.
You surprised by their approach? They've been bowled out 35.2 overs, 36 overs, sort of cardinal sins, you might say.
I mean, it is what it is. I think the way cricket's played, ODI cricket especially now these days, you're going to go hard and you're going to want to go hard. And sometimes, the ball and the cards don't fall your way. But I think that's the way they play, and they've got a lot of world-class operators. So, look, we've got to be waiting for the next game. It could be a high scorer.
You like to play freely, but you curbed yourself in that opening 10 overs. As a stern examination, did you feel like not losing 2, 3, 4 on their opening 10 was basically the game plan?
Yeah, I think before I went out to bat, I sort of had to think, and I was potentially a little bit loose last game, and obviously my natural game is to hopefully play with intent, but it doesn't mean I need to take away from the positions I'm in. It's just understanding what the surface is doing. I think Kane's a great calm head to have out there too. We sort of recognise, hey, it's a new ball wicket. What can we do to deny them for a period of time, knowing we're only chasing sort of that 170 score? I think it was 300, 350, a little bit different. If it was nipping around, have to probably be a bit more proactive. But I think we're able to sit there and absorb for a wee while.
Of course, Mitchell Santner comes out, plays a free hand, but Daryl Mitchell loves a fight, doesn't he?
I think he's the epitome of the Black Caps. I think he has been for the last few years. The way he goes about his business, obviously Sat's natural talent is amazing, the bombs he was hitting, but Daryl, he's a great man to bat with, and the positions he gets into and the fight that he gets for New Zealand is amazing to watch. Team
caught well today, big tick there. Important you keep the foot down for the third and final. You want the clean sweep.
Yeah, sure. I mean, whenever you get the opportunity to, it would be great. And although the series wrapped up, there's still a lot of games to be had. And we go to Wellington, best city in the world. So, it'll be great.
It is what it is, says Rachin Ravindra about England. That's the modern way. You go hard, and sometimes it'll work, and sometimes it won't. Well, what Steve Harmison and Darren Gough are saying alongside me is that it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be what is. I mean, just a reminder, England bowled out for 175, and as Dan McCarty says, they're not getting past 36 overs in either innings. New Zealand then knocking the runs off with 5 wickets to spare and 16.5 overs to spare. I don't know what England do for the third game. I mean, they had a tendency. They played the same team in the T20 series, such as it was, rain affected. But they've got a 16-man squad. They've got Tom Banton, Ryan Ahmed. He never plays.
They've got to change it. They've got to get. Listen, Ryan Ahmed's got to have a game at some point. Surely they can't just keep taking him away every single winter and him just watching. Someone's got to take over eventually from Adil Rashid. If he gets an injury at his age, we have no idea if Ryan is going to be the real deal for England at this level. I think he's improved as a cricketer. We saw that in the 100 this year. He was magnificent. They're pushing him with a bat. They're pushing him with a ball. I want to see him in England shirt. The series is over now, so I think England have got to have a look at some of the other players.
Yeah, I think Archer has to play again. I think Archer needs another more 10 overs. I don't think you can afford to leave Adil Rashid out. I think he's too good in a bowling attack, which I don't think is that strong. I'm not saying I don't play Ryan Ahmed. I think you could possibly
play two. Yeah,
you
possibly.
Potentially could play Ryan Ahmed instead of Sam Curran, and move possibly Jamie Overton up one and have.
Well, Ryan can bat instead of Sam Curran, straight swap.
So you have that. Bryden Cast probably won't play.
Yeah.
And whether you have a look at Sonny Baker, or do you go back to Luke Wood? Do you know what I mean? So one of them two. I think Wood. I like Luke Wood. I think with a new ball, I think him and Archer would be a decent combination, pitch up swing, and obviously the other one hit the deck. So they will be looking from a change point of view. I don't think the top 6 are going to change, largely down to the fact that the top 5 are going to play in Australia, so they're going to need to keep hitting balls, and there's a couple of them haven't hit too many so far. So I think that's where I'd see change. I would definitely look at Ryan Ahmed, but they're playing on a wicket, in the Sky Stadium, which isn't going to be spin friendly. It has been more seam dominant. So, can you afford to leave Sam Curran out and play a frontline bowler and expose, especially when your top order isn't firing, and then expose Jamie Overton at number 7, who actually has batted really well in the series so far. So, if you went with a Luke Wood over Sam Curran, or a Sonny Baker over Sam Curran to get an extra sort of firepower frontline seamer into the game, possibly, but that's the only way I see changes is the bowl, and I don't see Tom Banton getting the game at all.
A quick word about Jamie Overton. You've spoken about role definition and how Sam Curran has benefited in the T20 format for having a clearly defined role. I was going to ask you about whether Jamie Overton's role in 50-over cricket now could be seen more and more as the replacement for Liam Plunkett, who's never been replaced as a middle-over enforcer. While you think about that, though, let's hear from England captain Harry Brook.
Unfortunately, pretty comprehensive, wasn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't to be today, and hopefully we dig deep and double down on what we always talk about come Saturday.
You wanted to bowl, didn't go your way. How did, again, you think you've dealt with the new ball?
Yeah, it's annoying. I keep on losing the toss, but Well, every time you play against New Zealand, you know they're going to probe away at top of off with the odd bouncer, and yeah, they didn't really give us many bad balls to hit, and yeah, they bowled well. They've played better than us in the last 2 games, and unfortunately we've ended up on the wrong side of the line, or whatever you say.
Yeah. Well, I think you've left 15 overs on the field today, maybe 14. It's finding that right balance, taking the innings as deep as possible, but you don't want to throw, I guess, your batting DNA.
No, absolutely. We want to be aggressive. We want to entertain. We want to look to put their bowlers under pressure. And unfortunately, the last couple of games it hasn't worked. We've got arguably 3 or 4 of the best players in the world. Well, best players in England and in the world in our top 5-6. So on Saturday, hopefully, we can really nail them into the ground and get a big score. If we bat first.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully you win the toss and you get to choose whatever you want to do. But it's such a modest target. It's really hard, but you bowled really well at top. That was a really stern examination for the Black Caps, but just unfortunately, maybe a break here or there didn't go your way to open the door completely.
Yeah, we didn't get enough runs. It's simple as that, really. We didn't batter well enough. We didn't get a big enough total. But very promising signs to see Brydon Carse and Jofra Archer bowling in with a new ball there and putting them under pressure. Taking a couple of wickets in the power play is always good. Like I said the other night, we want people who can take wickets with a new ball and have the skill to be able to do that.
Yeah. Team looks still pretty upbeat. There was lots of smiles wandering on. You're confident you'll bounce back on Wellington? Yeah,
definitely. Look, we're living the dream. You can't complain too much. We've only lost a couple of games of cricket. I know it's disappointing, but yeah, there's a lot of worse things going on in the world. So we've just got to try and come back stronger on Saturday. And yeah, our main aim is to keep on trying to win.
Appreciate your time. See you in Wellington. Hopefully there's no famous Wellington spring wins for you.
Thank you. Cheers.
I like that. Put a smile on my face. Well done, Harry Brook. I think there are worse things happening in the world, and we can dissect and criticise as much as we like. But you know what he said? As he said, they've lost 2 games of cricket.
Very good, balanced interview by Dan McCarty and the England captain. He spoke honestly, didn't get in the front. There were positives there. Yes, I love the fact that they are living the dream, and there are worse things that happen in the world. But soon
he said they want to entertain. He just needs to remember that winning is also entertaining.
Yeah, winning is also entertaining, but that you have to earn the right to entertain. And I don't think in the last 2 games or over the course of the back end of Joss Butler's tenureship and into Harry's, I don't think in 50 over cricket England have entertained too much. I think they've had a real struggle with finding out what the right game plan is, what the right execution is, and what the right team is for England to be a powerhouse in 50 over cricket. We won the World Cup in 2019, and we're now languishing in 8th. I don't think we're in a position where I think there's a look over your shoulder for qualification for the next World Cup. But at the end of the day, England are going to have to start playing find a way of playing some better 50 over cricket, because the entertainment bit at this moment in time isn't there, because they're not winning enough games of cricket in 50 over cricket.
Okay, those of you watching might have seen Darren Gough being summoned away in the middle of our podcast. Nothing to worry about, I'm very glad to say, nothing to be alarmed about. He was simply required for an immediate dissection of England's loss on the breakfast programme in a studio a couple of floors above us. But seeing as I asked the question, we'll finish on with your answer, because there'll be some people interested to know about my comparison with Jamie Overton as a possible replacement middle over enforcer, the role that was performed so well by Liam Plunkett, and probably underappreciated just how important and how good he was in that role. Is Jamie Overton up to that?
I think he's up to it I think he's more up to it from a batting point of view. He bats at number 8 where Liam did, and I think he is from a batting point of view. I don't think he's anywhere near from a bowling point of view. I think in individual overs, I think wicket-taking balls, I think he's up there with Liam. I think durability, ability to nail out 10 overs, game in, game out, is where I think Liam was very good at. But I think on being able to get a wicket out of nowhere, Jamie's got them qualities. I just worry that how many times has Jamie Overton got 10 overs in him in a short space of time, because if you want to build something to go and win a World Cup, you're going to play in series he's leading into it, whether it's 3 or 5 match series. That enforcer role is a key role, and the brilliance of Liam Plunkett in that role was he was always there. He was never missing. He always there, and he was always fronting up. Where I can't see a tournament like the World Cup the last time, where you have to play 9 games in 35, 40 days, where that enforcer role has to bowl on average 8 overs throughout that tournament. On foot, I don't think Jamie Overton's body will be able to, withstand that. So that's something for the future. I think he's had 2 good games. I think he showed glimpses with the ball. He's been very, very good with the bat. I just think that possibly Sam Curran and Jamie Overton probably fighting for that one spot, and that's the number 7 or number 8 spot, whichever way they go around. Because I still think England are either one seam bowler, frontline banker of 10 overs short, but that is not really the question at this moment in time, because of the first 2 games in this series. It doesn't matter if they had all 5 banking 10 overs. They were not got enough runs, as the captain said, and they're not going to win any games.
Well, there you have it, a pair of 5-wicket defeats. England lose the series with a match to come, which doesn't mean to say that we won't bring you the 3rd and final one-day international live ball-by-ball commentary exclusively on it'll be talkSPORT and talkSPORT 2, as well as the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel. We'll be on air sometime half an hour after midnight Saturday, so into Sunday morning for the final game, which is from the Sky Stadium in Wellington. In the meantime, this has been Following On.